Did you know that used EV prices have plummeted by a staggering 1/3 in just a year? Yeah, you heard that right. Demand's dropping and prices are tumbling, so what's really going on here? Stick around as we dive into why the price of EVs are falling so fast. It's Tesla. Tesla's massive price cut earlier this year put extreme downward pressure on the used EV market, which is dominated by Tesla EVs like the Model 3 and the Model Y. With Tesla cutting prices on new models, its used EV values have tumbled. And because Tesla makes up the bulk of the used EV market, the dramatic drop in Tesla value has impacted the entire category. Executive analyst at iSeeCars.com, Carl Breyer, said, and the scales of the average decrease is especially astounding. While diesel cars dropped on an average by 1.3% and petrol vehicles just 0.5%, electric car auction prices have fallen by a massive 33.6% since December. New data reveals electric cars have lost an average of 1/3 of their value in the past 6 months compared to just 0.5% for petrol vehicles. But why? There isn't one answer to this, and it seems to be a number of factors creating this problem. Firstly, they are further to fall than their fossil fuel guzzling counterparts. The electric premium is sometimes as much as £10,000 on a car's petrol or diesel equivalent, and that means the percentage drop can appear larger. Secondly, there's a matter of supply and demand. Over the past 2 years, demand for electric cars has seriously outstripped supply, with long waiting lists for those wanting to make the switch from petrol or diesel to something more environmentally friendly. There's no longer the case. Factories have largely caught up, and there's now a ready supply of new models available to drive away today. The word new is important here. The models in this list are 3 years old, and while consumers may have settled for a pre-owned model in the absence of a new supply, they no longer have to. And of course, battery technology is improving all the time, leaving buyers wondering whether it's a false economy to pick up an older electric car when newer models can get further on a single charge. Speaking of false economies, the sky-high costs of energy hasn't helped the electric car either. While the upfront cost for EVs was always higher than a petrol or diesel vehicle, consumers had the comfort of knowing that running low costs would always beat the price of the pumps. With Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine and the subsequent hit to energy prices, there's no longer quite such a clear selling point. On another cost-related note, you could also add in the end of certain government incentive schemes, like the plug-in car grant, to the pile of reasons why interest in EVs may be drying up in general terms. High-profile price cuts from Tesla have also had a knock-on effect, as Electrifying.com editor Tom Bernard told Car Dealer magazine. We also can't underestimate the impact of Tesla's sudden price cuts on the used market. Residuals spiraled downwards as owners and traders alike became frightened of losing more money. This then hit the values of rival cars. With all these factors in play, it's perhaps no surprise that the resale value of electric cars has dropped so much in the past half year. There are multiple reasons why electric car prices are dropping. Falling used car prices in 2024 may trigger sticker shock for EV owners checking their resale value. On the other hand, these affordable prices are great news for many Americans who are looking to use their tax refund for a shiny new, to them, electric car. Kate Harrison, co-founder of Move EV, explains how falling prices help EV adoption. Consumers still list high EV prices as the #1 roadblock for adoption. As prices become more competitive with traditional gas cars, we should see continued upstick to the consumer demand. This trend, supported by an increasing number of models falling below the $25,000 used vehicle tax credit threshold, not only makes EVs more accessible, but also amplifies the opportunity for mainstream adoption. It's a clear indicator that EVs are transitioning from a niche market to a mainstream choice for Americans. Based on a record high number of tax credit eligibility checks, it seems like many drivers are looking for an electric bargain this season. Since used EVs must be priced below $25,000 in order to claim the tax credit, falling prices mean that electric cars are becoming accessible to a whole new demographic of buyers who rely on incentives and point-of-sale rebates to go electric. But what about the tax credit eligibility? Recurrent has been closely following the share of used EV listings that are eligible for the federal used clean vehicle credit. While the percentage of vehicles listed under $30,000 has skyrocketed to 55%, the percentage of vehicles under $25,000 has held constant at around 30% for several months. This can mean one or both of the following. Firstly, price and demand for EVs under $25,000 has hit an equilibrium, whereas vehicles priced under $25,000 are selling quickly, while vehicles above that threshold seem to be piling up. In either case, we cannot expect demand to rise, as Scott Case forecasts, based on the offers we're seeing through dealers in our Sell with Recurrent platform. He adds that, by the end of the quarter, used EV prices will stabilise. But for now, dealerships are clashing in on these used bargains. Alex Lawrence at EV Auto Dealership in Utah announced a record sales month in February thanks to these under $25,000 tax cars adding to that. Falling prices mean adoption is going to increase pretty dramatically as long as supply can keep up. The demand for used EVs under the $25,000 tax cap is going to continue to intensify. In terms of tax credit eligibility, 70% of EVs on the road are 2022 or earlier. Over 83% of used EV listings are 2022 or earlier, but the supply of tax cars will present its own issues as demand grows, as Alex continues. Recurrent reports are designed to help dealerships understand and answer questions about used EV range and warranties. In the last 2 years, Recurrent has scored 290,000 unique used EV VINs across our dealer, marketplace and auction clients. It's nearly 50% of the market of dealers sold EVs. It's important to know that as of 2024, tax credit eligibility sales must go through dealerships registered with IRS. Unfortunately, many dealerships have been slow to support the point of sale rebate on EVs, despite the easy sales opportunity it presents. Recurrent maintains a list of verified dealerships for EV shoppers. Thanks to the falling cost of lithium and battery packs, along with the industry's shift to more affordable EVs, Recurrent predicts that the average price of new electric vehicles will reach parity with the average price across the overall auto industry by the end of 2024. This will continue to accelerate demand for electric cars. As of December 31st, 2023, the average price for a new EV was just $2,000 more than the average price of a gas car. When you look at tax credit eligibility EVs, the average price after rebate is only $45,500 to $3,000 less than a new gas car. That has created an incredible opportunity for other dealerships, like Eastern Automotive Group in Maryland and Virginia, and EV Auto in Utah. Both have used the federal tax credits and Recurrent reports to boost sales. After all, these remains a question: will there still be a bright future for EVs? The most obvious of these is that one of the biggest criticisms of electric vehicles has historically been their high cost, and that is clearly coming down fast. That should ultimately drive adoption, especially as the UK is still committed to end the sale of new petrol and diesel cars in just 7 years' time. Said timeframe should also see the electric charging infrastructure improve immeasurably too. The reluctance to jump in on an older model as technology advances also highlights the innovation in the sector, and the improvements happening every day. One of VW's partners is now claiming a battery with 1,000 kilometers range, for example. That's double the range of the most popular EVs today, and should go some way to alleviating the phenomenon of charging anxiety for long journeys. And, environmentally speaking, the best may be yet still to come, as the actor, comedian and car enthusiast Rowan Atkinson wrote in a widely shared opinion piece for The Guardian this weekend. Highlighting the potential of solid-state and hydrogen batteries, Atkinson wrote that although, as an early adopter, he felt a little duped by the environmental benefits, the future still looks bright. Electric propulsion will be a real global environmental benefit one day, he wrote, but that day has yet to be dawned. And that's about all. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like more interesting updates, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you don't miss out on any videos and get notifications on time. Don't hesitate to give suggestions for our next video, and we'll see you in the next one.